Can you see everybody? That's
I want to see everybody. Good evening. I'm Ingrid Morroy, your friendly Commissioner on Revenue. Please don't hold it against me. Because the work we do finances a lot of things here in the county, the way we live and the way we maintain our parks and our schools and our roads. And that's why we are all here, because of Matt. We want Matt on the county board. If you haven't listened to his interview, his podcast interview with Arl now, you should. He has a lot of creative ideas. He has improved a lot when it comes to making sure that we understand what he wants to do. And he has my support. Before I go any further, I need to introduce some of our notables. Everybody here is a notable. But, we have from the school board Barbara Kennanen. Who's also on the ballot this year, so please make sure you vote up and down the ballot. We have Paul Ferguson. And I just want to mention that I'm very happy that we have 3 constitutional officers who are supporting Matt for county board. That's the majority of constitutional officers in our county. We have Paul, Beth Arthur, who couldn't be here, our sheriff. She deserves applause. So that's great. We have Margot Warner, the 8th Congressional District Chair. Bill Cayasso, ACDC Chair. The Honorable Judy Connolly. The Honorable Joe Holy, former County Board. And we have former ACDC Chair, Kip Malinowski.
The incoming Arlington Public School teacher, Kip Malinowski.
You have Chandra here too. You have Chandra here who ran against.
We'll get there.
Who ran against? You're going to get there. Okay.
Keep going, Ingrid.
And of course Katie Cristol, but you'll hear from her later. And I'm very honored. I'm very honored to introduce the county board chair. She owes her political career to me. Because it was really strange. In 2014, I decided to support her and Christian Dorsey, and they both won. My endorsement must have meant something. A lot of people think that with my endorsement they definitely win, but Hillary didn't, so she did in Arlington. Virginia. Anyway, Katie is a very impressive person. If you don't go to the county board meetings, you can catch it online, live, or you can listen to it later on, which is usually what I do, so I can skip to the parts that interest me.
We can't. But
sorry about that. Especially when it's about revenue. Potholes, but revenue. Revenue always interesting. How we spend money on capital projects, how we spend money on schools, and how the county board is always going to support my office and other constitutional offices. But what impressed me about Katie back in 2014 is that she was so passionate about women's issues, about where we have a lot of problems with sexual assault and what we need to do about that, with proof of these kids that went missing or never looked at. And also her.
Yeah, and here they need to
and
hear.
also, where's your microphone? You didn't
Borrow my voice. Next 5 minutes.
And also health issues for women, political representation of women and minorities, and especially her interest in how we deal with children and how we deal with schools. when it comes to children's care. She's also volunteered at Randolph Elementary School, which is in my neighborhood. And by the way, she became my neighbor. She's in Douglas Park now. Applause! And they've lived off of Columbia Pike since they came here, since they came to the Arlington area, and she's now moved a little closer to the west end of Columbia Pike in Douglas Park. And she's doing a lot of work with transportation here in the Transportation Commission here in Northern Virginia and in Arlington. And I'm very proud to introduce to you County Board Chair Katie Cristol.
Good evening. Good evening. All right, this is my test for whether you can hear me in the back. Good evening. Good evening. It is so exciting to be in a room full of this much energy, these many folks, to be with you tonight supporting our nominee for Arlington County Board, Matt Ferranti. And I bet Matt will talk about, he has a long and really impressive civic resume, serving on our Housing Commission, advising the school board on their Budget Advisory Commission, being one of the original members of our still relatively new Joint Facilities Advisory Commission. But I'll tell you, for as long as I've known Matt, I've seen him not only as a trusted thought partner on some of the biggest issues facing Arlington, like housing affordability or planning for facilities, I've also seen another side of him, his professional side. I see him as a trusted colleague and a leader in the shared field of national education policy. I know that Matt has spent his career fighting for higher standards, better expectations, and better curricula for lower income kids, kids from disadvantaged backgrounds, kids who are from Indian tribes across this country. Matt's been on the front lines of that fight throughout his career. And we often don't talk about the professional background or the day jobs of the people that we try to elect to a local office in Arlington County, but in Matt's case, it's really important. Because I look at Matt and I see in him somebody who has woken up every morning for years to fight for some of our most vulnerable people, to fight for the idea that our public schools, our government, can be part of offering our young people, our families, something better, can be part of the solution, can be part of interrupting intergenerational cycles of poverty and disadvantage. Folks, that's why we're Democrats. On the Arlington County Board, it's not a proxy for how you're going to vote on a given capital project. It's not a proxy for how you might vote on a use permit, or even how you're going to vote on the setting where you set the tax rate. My Democratic colleagues and I on the board, we disagree about those things all the time. Being a Democrat is a proxy for our core values of believing that government can work to help people in their journeys, to starting a business, to supporting their families, to giving back to their communities, to advancing a better life. Matt's professional work, as much as his civic engagement, embodies those values. And we are in a pretty dark moment when it comes to national policy. And there are times when it feels like whether this focus on local issues is even the right place to be putting our energy at a time when this administration is putting kids in cages after they take them from their families. But I think often about a remark that Jason Kander, who came to talk to the Democrats, shared with us just a few weeks ago, a couple months ago now, when he said that the best way at a local level to make the case for progress is to make progress. And that's what we have the opportunity to do in Arlington County, in this community. We have the opportunity to stand for something better by making progress. And I know, because he has spent a career dedicated to making progress, to fighting for the most vulnerable, that Matt Ferranti will get up every morning, the same way he's done throughout his career, and fight for those values in Arlington County. I am so proud to support him, and I am so proud to introduce you to my friend, Matt Ferranti.
So we first first have to start with a thanks to Katie. She is an outstanding leader, and I can't wait to see what you do over the years to come to lead Virginia forward. Please give it up. And I also want to thank Mary and Patrick for hosting this event. It is a phenomenal place. It's a special place to do this, to have this event. I met Jay, and then I called Mary, and I told her about my progressive aunt in Minnesota, and Mary, being from Minnesota, said, "You're on the Housing Commission, go do it." And that's been a part of my journey the last 5 years. I want to just make sure I get a couple of the other thank yous. We have to thank the kitchen crew. And that is 100% Patrick. So I want to just also thank leader with the NAACP, Julia Spain is here. Please. He's also helped out as a co-host of the event, and I'm very grateful. I appreciate it. Ingrid as well. What a public servant. When you think of integrity, Ingrid Morroy is integrity. Please give her a hand. There's a host of a number of others who have supported this event, and I'm grateful, and we are closing the gap. There's plenty of work to do to be known, and also to raise the resources to make sure that I'm known in this election. It is about the issues that Katie talked about. So those are my thanks. One last set of thanks. There's a few folks with t-shirt that has my name on them, so Claire is there. Please, my team, thank you so much for all you do. Our newest full-time member is Claudette. Just wave Claudette. She is just off of winning a race in Maryland, and she is the right person to lead us to victory on November 6th. There is one member of our team that I am going to risk and say is an honorary member of our team, and that is someone whose life embodies the American dream, Chanda Chun. Chanda, please. There are 105 days left before the 2018 election. 105 days before the stakes that Katie mentioned, alluded to nationally, get decided. And 105 days before our community decides what to do with respect to progress and the issues that I've worked my whole career on. We can win this election, I have no doubt. You need to hear clearly and crisply from me the message that we need to share with everyone about why me and not my opponent. We need new vision for Arlington's future. We need new vision on our economy. We need new vision on education construction to build the schools. We need new vision on housing affordability and creative ideas to help us get there. We need new vision to end child hunger in Arlington by 2022. And we need a vision that is committed to 100% renewable energy in Arlington by 2035. That's the vision I'll bring, and that my opponent is not. The vision, just comparing, so we're clear, my opponent sees half the picture. Maybe less than half in some cases. I think we have to have a vision for economic growth that looks to the next economy, that invests in our talent, and that works towards the next generation of Wi-Fi connectivity. We need to be thinking about growth, not just keeping things exactly as they are, because that's not life. We know that change is inevitable. On our economy, we need leaders who are bringing folks together and bringing us to the next economy. That's what I'll do. On education, construction, you can't just be for investing in schools in the last 6 months before an election. You have to know that we need resources in order to catch up with our capacity problems. Our capacity challenges, I'd say. Maybe Barbara might say opportunities, right? So we've got to build the schools to keep our schools the best in Virginia, and we have to make sure that we can educate every single child. That's what I worked on professionally, and we can do that. We can make more progress in Arlington on that by investing, if we have the right leadership on the county board. On the environment and child's hunger, I don't know if there's a vision to contrast with. I know I'm committed to those two high goals of child hunger. I know I'm committed to 100% renewable energy. I don't know what the contrast would be, because I don't know if my opponent has a vision on those two issues. That's the sort of things that make us Democrats. That's the sort of things that I'll fight for. And that's the full picture, not just half the picture, not just cutting, but also investing. So I want to close with a story. Oh, I want to close actually just with a quick story, and then I'll mention an event that we have coming up. So many of you know on Saturday there's an activist who, and I want to tell two parts to the story. Saturday there's an activist I know who knocked so many doors for Ralph Northam. And she woke up Saturday morning to finding notes from the KKK on her front driveway. Now that's not the key to this story. The key to this story is that she was fuming all day. She posted on Facebook and she talked about it a lot. That's not Arlington. That's not even close to Arlington. That's not the 21st century. But the best part of the story is that not only was she angry all day, and not only did she call all of us to consciousness about how we must respond, but the next day, I saw her last night at 10 o'clock, and she was focused on what she could do to respond. That is Arlington. That is what we have to focus on. 10 concrete steps is what she's going to write out. And she's going to make her own bags to put in every single neighbor's yard. That is the compassion and the action that we have to be about in this election. That's what I'll be about. If you'll stand with me, if you'll work with me, if you'll drive me to every blessed door in the county, if you will make sure that we send postcards to every single door that we knock on, if you will ask your neighbors to think about the reality that we need vision for the future, not just the same, then we can win this election. I'll work my heart out to do it. I want to just give Mary a chance to ask you to engage in that work in a new way. And then I'll have an announcement just at the end. But thank you so much for being here. We will close the gap on resources. We will knock doors throughout this county. We will win this election on November 6th because we have a new vision for Arlington's future, and we have to contrast that with an idea that we can stay exactly the same, which is not reality. So thank you so much for being here. Listening to me.
Aren't we lucky? You know, he's been working really hard. I've been tangentially part of the campaign for a while, but what I want you to understand today is that what we're trying to do is hard. It's not undoable. And so I want to tell one little story. When I ran the first time in 1994, I had a very formidable Republican opponent. I lost all 9 of the northern precincts in this county, most of them by less than 50 votes, but I did lose them. But we still won the election. And we won the election because people in the corridors and people elsewhere in the county started voting against Ollie North, and they just voted down the ticket. And I see so many parallels to what we have to do this time. Corey Stewart's there. We need to vote against Corey and for Tim, Arlington's great friend Tim, and we just need to vote all the way down till we finish up at bar. I was in 1994. But here's the deal, guys. Campaigns are all about 3 attributes that people have: their time, their treasure, and their talent. And you paid to come tonight, so thank you for sharing your treasure. If you have more treasure to share, but equally important are your time and your talent, and honestly, your networks. You know, these races are all about who knows who talks to who says this is an important thing. Matt's given you his new, a new vision, and I am 200% behind this because honestly, I think of John, and what I think of, and I served with him for 2 years, is that he's treading water looking backwards. And that is not going to stand Arlington in good stead. So, you know, whether you can write another check or not doesn't matter. If you have hours to spend on the phone or time to help write postcards, if you have a talent, if you have a group that you're connected to that hasn't played in the election before, that would be willing to hear Matt talk, those are the gifts that he needs you to bring into this campaign. You know, we have over 100,000 voters. There is absolutely no way that one candidate can get all those places. But if each of us talks to 10 people or 20 people, all of a sudden that network is so much larger. So I hope you go out of here tonight really inspired by his message, but also understanding that how you spend these next 105 days, who you talk to, and how you persuade them is going to make the difference between winning this election and not. And he needs every one of us to do it.
Sure.
So.
I absolutely do. Thank you, Mary, for putting this on. So many folks, just because he's one of our, just only because he's one of our earliest supporters, Senator Adam Evan.
Late tonight, but that's not indicative.
No, you were early, and I am grateful. And I want to just announce tonight. I've shared it with some of you, but are phenomenal, and I think there's arguably one of the best attorney generals of the last 100 years. Mark Herring is going to be doing an event for me on August 9th. We have some hosts. Several people have already stepped up. Jill Caiazzo, Carol Fontaine, others have stepped up to host the event. It's August 9th. I'd love it if you can make it. That's an indication of the momentum that we're building. And we have a lot of work to do, but we will be working, I will be working nonstop. Everybody knows that I'm relentless. And I will be working nonstop to bring this case of a new vision for Arlington's future to everyone. Everyone across this county, because this will be a close election. It will not be easy, but it will be an inflection point. We can move forward towards progress, towards the ideals that make us hopeful about what is possible about the American dream if we work hard over the next 105 days. So thanks for being here. Please see Claudette, see our team if you have questions about how you can help. Email, call, we can do this together. Thanks so much.